Welcome back. Eskom will not be forced to comply with air pollution rules at Kusile Power Station. The Environmental Affairs Department made the exemption in line with the electricity state of disaster. That means the utility will not have to use equipment to reduce sulfur dioxide emissions. Now, while this will ensure Kusile can operate and generate power, there are environmental and health concerns. So let's discuss this with Brandon Abdenor from the Center for Environmental Rights. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. A very good morning to you. That line about, while it'll ensure that Kusile operates and generates the required equipment, rather the required power, how sure are we of that, though? You know, how sure are we that we've seen our power stations just not operating as they should? Was it because they were not able to essentially break energy emission rules?
Good morning, Morena. Good morning to the viewers. These are the questions that we have ourselves, and it just shows how the lack of transparency in this whole issue really leaves a lot of us in the dark in terms of what is happening. So we are not sure exactly what this will do. We know that Eskom, for example, claims that allowing Kusile to get back online in this manner will bring up to 2,000 megawatts back onto the grid. But the information that we have suggests that Kusile has been operating at around a third of that for a lot of the time. So we're not really able to look at the cost-benefit analysis properly without that sort of information. And of course, on the cost side, we're talking about serious health issues that could arise and probably will arise as a result of the sulfur dioxide emissions that are going to emanate through bypassing this flue gas desulfurization equipment.
You talk about, of course, the health concerns, and we're going to get to that in a moment because it is important. But you talk about a lack of transparency. Are you saying that Kusile, you know, the energy department itself, the Kusile power station itself, government essentially, has not consulted, for example, Center of Environmental Rights and environmentalists, you know, at large to say, this is what we would like to do because this is what we think it can do for us. But what are your thoughts? How do you think we can perhaps mitigate the situation? You've not had that conversation.
Correct. Not consulted with ourselves, and very importantly, not consulted with the communities who are going to bear the brunt of this unabated pollution. Just to contextualize, so it's not that Eskom's already been given the go-ahead to bypass. They've been given the go-ahead to make an application to bypass subject to shortened timeframes and other streamlined conditions. And that's a bit of a concern around these regulations. So the public participation period has been shortened, which does give rise to risks that improper information is tabled or incomplete information and that people don't have enough time to consider what's being told. And then further information such as health impact assessments, as I say, a proper cost-benefit analysis. This is all still to come, but very much, as they say, on a streamlined process in a shortened time frame. So the concern here is that something that's inappropriate gets pushed through. I mean, at the end of the day, this coal-fired power generation system as a whole, Kusile very much specifically has really been letting us down. I mean, we see it's been over time, it's been over cost, the kind of money that gets poured into this. We're just concerned, is this money going to continue to be poured into the system, ultimately for a system that's unstable, that doesn't provide security of supply, that's expensive, and that is unhealthy and causes death.
And is that how bad the situation can be should, you know, this approval, this request be granted? Are we talking loss of life here?
Yes, well, we've had a study done by the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, and they say that just in terms of this particular bypass that we're talking about, should Kusile be run for a period of 13 months, the modeling shows that between 200 and 500 deaths could occur.
Wow. Can it be stopped? Is it advisable to be stopped? Can a middle ground be found? Because we do need power. And if they are saying that this is the one avenue, you know, that they have to take, can a middle ground be found? Is this even the only option that is, you know, before our Eskom and the department?
Well, number one, let's get all the information so that a range of stakeholders can make that assessment. Let's have the public participation so that if this does look like it might be something that is necessary or wise, then that we consult with the communities affected. The people that live in those pollution airsheds are being sacrificed, essentially. So where are their voices in this, and how do they feel about it? And then let's take a bigger picture look about how long we want to continue to prop up this coal energy system with all of its costs, and instead not put money into renewables, which are clean, which are cheap, which are quick, and which can get, which models have shown will get our energy crisis to an end as the quickest.
Brendan, have you guys, essentially sat on the necks of government to say, you need to talk to us, you need to involve us, you need to involve communities? Are they just blatantly ignoring you? Because, at the end of the day, this is going to rest on, the government's doorstep. Blood will be on their hands. So have you tried to force yourselves in there to essentially show them, excuse the pun, the light?
We have been doing so for many years. We call for public participation and inclusive consultation all the time. I don't want to make a blanket statement here that never happens. We sometimes knock on doors that do get opened, but generally the system is characterized by decisions that seem to be made behind closed doors, without the input of civil society and most importantly, again, the communities that are affected.
All right, Brendan, we hope that, a better, safer, less chaotic solution can be found, and that, if this is really the only way that government can go, that the community is put at the top of the agenda, that they are thought of first and at most. I mean, the environment as well, but mostly human beings, because at the end of the day, this is who it's going to affect more. We'll leave it there with you. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Brendan Abdinall from the Center of Environmental Affairs.